Hi, Noel physicists. This is Miss Rose. As you know, I'm going to be taking over the math portion of Physics is Wavy and getting you ready for your NWEA test. Yay. Okay, so I've added in 2 math focus areas to the Physics is Wavy project. I know, you're ready to kill me. But these are very straightforward, and I'm here to help you with them. And each of these focus areas that I'm adding in are very important to get you to pass the NWEA graduation requirement math test. So, no complaining, we're just going to do them, okay? So let me share my screen and show you exactly what, what we're doing here. It's called Math 8 Review, and it has 2 objectives. The first objective is to determine and interpret the slope and y-intercept of a linear relationship. The second objective is to solve equations and inequalities, okay? And so what I'm going to do is run through some problems that are going to help you work on this. So let me now go to the whiteboard, okay? What I thought we would do is look at the second objective, equations and inequalities and solving them, okay? So I just want to look at a straight equation, okay? And this is rather kind of clunky to use this whiteboard, but that's what we have. And until we have something better, we're just going to use this, okay? This is an equation, okay? This is an equation. And the way you know this is an equation is it has an equal sign. 9x minus 7 equals 29. Or you could say 9x minus 7 is equal to 29. But an inequality is different. An inequality means that they're not equal. One is greater than and one is less than. So let's put one of those on the board, okay? So let's do 8x plus, no. Look at that. Let's do this. Let's do 8 plus 4x, okay? Now here's where we're going to make a difference. We're going to do is greater than or equal to 12, okay? So this is an inequality. 8 plus 4x is greater than or equal to 12. You didn't have to have that equal to sign underneath. It could just be greater than, okay? So these are 2 different types of, oopsie, let me push this down, kinds of equations that you're going to find on this focus area. We're going to have equations and we're going to have inequalities, okay? An inequality means you're going to have a greater than or less than sign, okay? All right, so many of you may know how to approach a problem like this. We want to get x by itself on one side of the equation and everything else on the other side of the equation. And to do that, we have to undo everything. So, and we know because of this equal sign that whatever we do on this side of the equation, we have to do on this side of the equation. So if I wanted to undo subtracting 7, I would need to add 7. And I also need to add 7 on this side. Because of this equal sign, I know that what I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. So if I take negative 7 plus 7, I'm going to essentially get rid of 7. So I'm going to be left with my 9x, which I'm going to bring down. 9x and 29 plus 7 equals 36. Okay? And now I have x on one side and everything else on the other, and I'm happy. And now all I have to do is get rid of this 9. So it's 9 times x, so I have to reverse it. So I'm going to divide by 9 to get x all by itself. But because of the equal sign, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, okay? So 9 divided by 9, we know, is 1. So now I have this x all by itself. This is wonderful. Oops. X is all by itself. And 36 divided by 9 is 4. And so my answer here is x is equal to 4. Now, the way I can check this, that I have the right answer, is I just go back to my original equation and I plug in 4. So 9, and I use 4 for x. So times 4. And now I'm going to subtract 7. Still sticking with my original equation, is 29. Okay? There we go. So 9 times 4 is 36. 36 minus 7 is indeed 29. This is an equation, solving a linear equation, okay? Now, if we cross over to the other side, it's going to be a little bit different over here, okay? But what I want you to do in your mind is to treat this as if it is an equal sign to start, okay? So the same thing we did on this side, we want to get x alone. So we have to undo whatever we've got here. So we need to subtract 8 to move it to the other side to get rid of it. But whatever we do on this side of the equation, we need to do on this side of the equation, okay? And there we have it. So 8 minus 8 is going to give us 0. This is going to go away. We're going to bring this down and we're going to have 4x. And we're going to bring down our sign, greater than or equal to, and 12 minus 8 is actually 4. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to get x all by itself so we can solve for x. So we've got to divide by 4 and divide by 4 over here. This is going to give us 1x over here. And then interestingly enough, 4 divided by 4 is also going to give us 1. So here's our answer. X is greater than or equal to 1. Now, how could I check this answer? Well, if x is 1, I'm going to use this top equation here, back to our original equation. I'm going to start here with the 8 plus 4. And I'm going to substitute 1 in for x. And it's going to be greater than or equal to 12. Well, 8 plus 4 times 1 is actually 4. So 8 plus 4 is actually equal to 12. It is greater than or equal to 12. But now I'm going to see if this greater than sign holds true. X has to be equal to 1 or greater than 1. So let's try x equals 2 and see if that works. And if that works, then we're right, okay? If x equals 2, then our equation will be 8 plus 4x, and x is now 2. is going to be greater than or equal to 12. And here we have 8 plus 4 times 2, also 8. 8 plus 8 is greater than, 8 plus 8 is greater than or equal to 12. And 8 plus 8 is 16. And we know that 16 is greater than or equal to 12. So this is our answer here. Oopsie, and this is our answer here. Okay? So let's try one more equation, an inequality, and then I think we're ready to move on to the next part of this focus area. Remember, this focus area had 2 parts, and we're starting in the bottom part, okay? So I am going to erase this entire board. This is a very fun part of this. And there are a number of equations that you are going to find on this focus area. And if there's something that stumps you, let me know. And be sure to start with the diagnostic, okay? Remember, there's 2 objectives here, 2 parts, okay? The other thing I wanted to tell you is that you need to know your multiplication tables through and through, tables 1 to 12. You've got to know them like you know your name. And so I'm going to put a link in there for you to practice them, because you don't want to give away points on this test because you don't know 56 divided by 8. Okay, that's not being smart about how to conquer this test. That's something that you can memorize or refresh your memory about or learn if you haven't. And also simple addition and subtraction, we don't want to give away points. We don't want to say 4 times 2 is 7. We don't want to say 8 plus 8 is 15. That's not then a true reflection of your math ability. That's just not knowing basic math facts. And we can fix that. And you can do that very easily. I have great confidence in that. So let's try another equation, 4 plus 6k, and inequality. So on this side, it's 4 plus 6k is equal to 4. And on this side, I'm going to do an inequality, and the inequality is going to be 9x minus 6 is going to be less than 21. Okay. This does not have an equals. It's not less than or equal to. It's strictly less than. Okay. Over on this side, wanting to have k, or whatever our variable is, by itself, we've got to get rid of the 4. So we're going to subtract it. Whatever we do on one side of our equal sign, we must do on the other to maintain the integrity of this equation. On this side, I get 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. On this side, I get the same. 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. So now I'm going to bring down my variable. I'm going to have 6k is equal to 0. And so now I'm going to try to isolate k all by itself. So I've got to divide by 6 and divide by 6 over here. And 6 divided by 6 is going to be 1. So I'm going to be left here with just k, 1k, but we don't need to write the 1. And 0 divided by 6 is 0. Now, if we have 0 on the top, the answer is 0. We cannot have 0 on the bottom. We can't divide by 0, okay? So that is impossible. But we can have 0 on the top, and that gives us 0. So here's the answer to this equation. Now let's check it. And we know how to check it. We're going to go substitute k in to our original equation, which is going to say 4 plus 6 times 0, because we know k is now 0, equals 4. Okay, this becomes 0. Anything times 0 is 0, and we get 4 plus 0 equals 4. That checks out. So here is our answer to our first equation, but now let's go over to our inequality, and let's take a look at that. Same principles, guys. We want to get x by itself. First, we need to undo our 6. We need to add, do the opposite. If we add to one side, we must add to the other side. And so now I have gotten rid of the 6, and I'm going to bring down our 9. 9x is going to be less than 21 plus 6, which is going to be 27. Now I need to get rid of the 9 to find out what x is. So in order to do that, I'm going to divide by 9. If I divide on one side, I'm going to divide on the other. 9 divided by 9 I know is 1. So x has to be less than 27 divided by 9. And again, this is a math fact, a multiplication math fact that I want you to know cold. So this is going to be 3. So x has got to be less than 3 in order for this equation to be true. So let's pick a number less than 3. How about 2? Let's substitute in 2. 9 times 2, right? We're using 2 for x because we've picked a number less than 3, because x has to be less than 3, minus 6 has got to be less than 21. 9 times 2 is 18, and 18 minus 6 is 12, and 12 is certainly less than 21. I don't know if you can see this down the bottom. It might be cutting off, but 12 will be less than 21, and for that reason, we know that this is the right answer. There it is, okay? Okay? All right, so once again, I want you to be clear. I want to be clear that we are working on the Math 8 review focus area. The first objective is determine and interpret the slope and y-intercept in a linear relationship. We're not there. We're actually on objective number 2, solving equations and inequalities, which is exactly what we have done. There are a number of resources here for you to take a look at how to do these problems. These particular problems are called, I'm not sure you can actually see this, but these particular problems are called two-step because we're actually doing 2 steps. We're moving a number over to the other side, and we're then dividing, okay? Guys, thank you so much. As always, reach out to me, call me, text me, email me. I will help you get through these focus areas. This is very important for NWEA, and it is part of your physics class. I'm going to make another video for objective number 1 in this focus area, and I'm going to make a video about how to calculate the wavelength and frequency using the speed of light and scientific notation, which are part of your project for Physics is Wavy this quarter, okay? Great job, guys. Reach out if you need me.